But my area of focus has always been older, aggressive teens. I feel very comfortable with behavior management, classroom management, and then probably the last 16 years I've been working with school-wide reform. So it's best to work backwards. We have a comprehensive exam where they have to write an answer. They, at the graduate level, have several writing-intensive courses where they're going to write a 30-page investigative report, a lit review in 502. And so what we did a number of years ago is we worked backwards because there's some certain skills, APA skills and grammar and being able to kind of lay out how to write some of these more intensive intensive assignments. So we started kind of unpacking it and building it into other courses. So as sophomores, they'll go in 305, the behavior management, and they'll start writing a research paper on a particular school of thought with regards to behavior management. I mean, if you have to choose an adjective, it's robust. I mean, it's much more intensive at the graduate level. It's putting everything together. They have certain components with the TWS and the writing at the undergraduate level. Right around a junior, it's pretty writing intensive assignment where they're looking at the background of the kid, and it's a variety of things that they have to write out. When they're looking at the very intro writing assignment, really at a sophomore level in 305, it's short. It's 5 to 7 pages, and the goal really is I want to have an assessment of their writing ability because I want to get a sample of their writing, and if it comes about that they're struggling with it a little bit, it's best that they go ahead and get some assistance with it now. And also, it's their introduction to APA. That's what they're going to be inundated with. So that's where they're going to go. And then as it progresses, it's much more of a communication tool. It's you've come to these conclusions through the synthesis of the research, and now you're trying to construct a logical argument. Of being able, whether it's a proposal to go in a particular area with a school, or whether you're trying to write up the effectiveness of some intervention, or if you're just trying to craft IEP objectives and PLOP statements, present level of performance. All of these things are designed to convey information. So, well, clearly, if you look at it from a technical aspect, you're writing the IEP with the student in mind. So, especially when a kid is 14, they should really be in charge of their IEP, their individualized education plan. And you're writing for the parents, and you're writing for compliance for state. And so within that IEP, you want to communicate very clearly what the goals and objectives and where the student is performing. But at the same time, you want to communicate that information to the parents, and you also want to be in compliance, and you want other teachers to be able to understand it. So the IEP is a very complex written document that has to serve multiple purposes. Now, when we get into ed research and things like that, you are dealing with an audience that kind of understands. You're not necessarily trying to convince them of something. What you're doing is you're trying to explain your conclusions, and so you're writing to an audience that understands it. I think the thing they struggle with the most is the position papers, where they feel comfortable writing in first person and saying, this is my position, and then being able to justify it. I think they've been taught for so long to be tolerant of all positions, to give equal weight to all positions, and as we moved toward that medical model, that's not true. Some treatments are much better than others, and you need to be able to justify that. So for them to find their voice and to view themselves as the potential expert in the field is tough. I mean, it's you go back and you're like, wait a minute, I just left high school. Well, yeah, 4 years ago. Now you're a graduate student. But them visioning and envisioning themselves as experts in the field and being able to convey that is tough. So the mechanics, there's always a group of folks that struggle a little bit with mechanics, but that's an easy fix. But feeling comfortable with your own voice, using that to convey a solid message as opposed to an ambiguous message that gives validation to all points. I mean, that might be really nice, but then if you validate everything, a little bit of everything is a whole lot of nothing. So they feeling comfortable in their own skin and realizing that people are going to disagree. As soon as you take a position, someone's going to not agree with that position, and that's uncomfortable. Once they get past and they have the basic mechanics of writing, then it's, what do you have to say? So I think that's what they, should be asking. What are you trying to say? Are you just trying to get the assignment done? Because then that's boring, and I don't really want to read it. But you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And if your only answer is because it's an assignment, then you're missing the whole point of these assignments. You should sit down and take stock in yourself and say, what is it that I'm trying to do with this writing assignment? What am I trying to do with this objective? What am I trying to do with this position paper? What am I trying to do with this investigative report? What truth am I trying to uncover? And that's when, the mechanics and all that other stuff, that all can be edited. But if you have a purpose for writing other than, I gotta do this assignment, then that has meaning and that has value. If you don't, don't expect anybody to be all enthusiastic about it, and don't expect all these compliments, because it's kind of transparent. So that's, I think, what they have to ask is, why am I doing this? Why am I writing this position paper? Because that's the toughest thing. Why am I choosing this topic to spend 30 pages on investigating? What does it mean besides, well, I need to do this to check another box so I can get closer to my degree? It should have some meaning for you to choose that topic. And not until you get pen to paper that it has meaning. So those that avoid it, maybe you're avoiding commitment. Maybe it's more than, I just don't like to write. Maybe I'm talking the talk, but I'm not really willing to walk the walk. Any other cliche I can come up with, I'll try to do. But I just think that people avoid writing sometimes because it's serious. It takes some cognition. Sitting there and throwing out whatever thought comes to your head, fun, but it doesn't take that much of a commitment. Putting thoughts and ideas and constructing them in a logical way almost forces you to be a better person. I'm not trying to be melodramatic, but it's more along the lines of, oh, this is serious. But throwing your 2 cents worth in, it's overrated. It's official and permanent when you write it. And it can come back to haunt you, or it can validate you.